So I guess we'll start with the good news. Where have you missed Tomas Hertl the most these last little bit?
Well, power play for sure. He's been a big part of that. The other guys have done a good job, but we miss his interior presence there. Offensively, I thought even 5-on-5 was doing a really good job with Pav. They really had chemistry and Satter, so that line, should hopefully can recapture where they were. And I thought they were playing very well defensively. Like their numbers have improved significantly. So the three of them all working together have done a really good job. So probably that's most areas, right? He's a guy that's played a lot of minutes for us. He was our leading scorer. I think when he went out, Pav probably passed him or tied, whatever the case. But he's just a big presence in there, and he's a load to handle.
Any update on Eichel?
Nothing new there. He won't play tonight. Upper body, day to day. See how he is tomorrow.
Still illness?
Yeah, he won't play tonight either. He's getting better, but not there yet either. And Haig will be back in. He got a little bit of this illness bug going through the team, so we kept Olsen off today. He should be fine tonight, but he's fighting it. Carly, I think, is through it. So we've had a few guys, but hopefully it's past us for the most part.
So this might be like a game time, maybe?
Well, that was more out of necessity. We weren't sure on a couple of guys. Hertl again was they're traveling today, so if they take off in the plane and then something happens this morning, then we're kind of we're scrambling. So we felt let's bring Holtz in, and if need be, he'd go in the lineup. He's played well down there. He's done what the organization has asked, worked on his game. Hopefully we don't need him. We're healthy enough, but if we do, then he'll go in.
Is it fair to say the last 4 or 5 games that Shea has kind of come back into his own since the injury? And can you talk about, despite the injury, kind of the season he's had?
Well, he's had a real good offensive season. I think he's set a points record. If not, he'd be right there. I think his all-around game is better. I think that's always good with Naber. They've been a great pair. We started the year him on the left side. That was something we had discussed throughout the summer that maybe he was looking to transition to. But he's back on the right. Played great there. Great mobility, giving us a threat from the ozone blue line when he starts dancing around there through the neutral zone. He's making his plays every night. For him, it's trying to catch up for a bit of lost time, in which he takes a game. Every game will help him get a little bit cleaner, and that's where he's at. But yeah, they're especially with Petro out. That's our most veteran pair that we're going to rely on in a lot of different situations. He was on the penalty kill the other night, blocked a shot. We get going the other way with I don't know what game, if it was Colorado. They run together after a while, but did a good job. That's not something we typically use him on. But with Hager being out, he got an opportunity late in the game in Nashville. Right, he was out in the last minute. Sometimes that'll fall to other people. So he's building his game that way.
Bruce, the division the last couple of weeks, you were up 9, then it was down to 1, now it's 6. What does it speak to that it's hard to put it away? What's it like to be the center of that here for the last couple of weeks?
Well, you said it. It's not easy. I mean, we've got good teams around us. Edmonton ran into some injury problems. We've had a little bit. I think LA, for the most part, has been good, exception of Doughty early. So that can influence it. We've been in that spot most of the year, and I think our guys take pride in that. We want to finish the job. So here we are. It's in our hands, right? It starts tonight. We have the opportunity to control our destiny. I think that's the way we're looking at it.
In regards to Hertl, is it something that you can see in practice through the non-contact and jersey and then the contact jersey that he's, he could just slip right back to where he was, or is it going to take a game? Is it a concern, or you do not worry about that stuff?
I don't know, to be honest, because last year he was hurt when we got him, so I don't know his whole history in that. He came in. I think the whole newness of coming to a new team is difficult, whether you're healthy or not. Now you've been hurt, so I think it'll be a lot easier in that regard. He knows he's going right back into with 2 line mates he's played with, the same power play spot he's been functioning very well in all year. So I'd like to think that part will be seamless. As for how his health is, only he can determine that. I'll tell you this: he's a strong guy. He's conditioning is through the roof. He'll always do extra out there to make sure it is, and so I don't believe that part will be a problem. But I mean, there was an injury there. He's back, so he'll have to sort through that and hopefully get up to speed as quickly as possible. We're thankful he's able to get out there now and not go right into the playoffs. I think that's a bonus. When the injury happened, we all saw it. We didn't know how it would play out, whether it'd be day to day or a couple of weeks, whatever. But here he is, so he does get an opportunity to get back and get some games under his belt before the playoffs start. So that's the good part. How he reacts to that, I guess we'll see tonight around 10:30.
Saw the reemergence of William Carlsson and Riley Smith on the road trip. Just what have you seen from those guys, and how close are they to where you thought they were 2 years ago?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think Smitty's been playing with Carly for most since he's gotten here, so it's now they're back on the penalty kill together, which they've done a lot of damage. I figured they would get up to speed. You never know how long. I mean, it has been a few years, but they speak the same language when they're on the ice, for lack of a better term. Even though one's Swedish and one is Canadian, they just read off each other well. The 5-on-5 and the PK. I think their 5-on-5 game, I've been impressed with Olsson on the other side. They've grown every night. Line rush at first. Are they going to be able to, coexist offensively in the O-zone in terms of creating offense that way? Because you typically need a net presence. Those guys aren't what you'd think of first right out of the bat as net presence guys, but every one of them's taken their turn there and gone there when they're supposed to, because that's what attracts people, right? Opens up other areas. So they've been really good for us, and they're going to be able to check anybody. They're all smart players. They can all skate. They know the game well. Are they going to bring the offense when it tightens up off the rush? And they have. And now their PK has really helped us. It's given us life, right? That they're good on up ice pressure. Now our other guys see that, and we've been trying to build that in. So good leaders in that area.
Bruce, it's been a little while since you've seen Seattle. What sorts of potential problems would they pose tonight, do you think?
Well, they're 3-1 in their last 4, and they're eliminated. So obviously they're playing. They're not rolling over, and you never know what you're going to get this time of year with teams that are out. Are they going to push hard individually because they have stuff on the table, or as a team they just kind of nothing to lose attitude? So for us, we got to make sure we don't get into one of those games where it's trading chances. I think that's when those teams can excel. If you make them work, are they going to push through? Is there enough on the line for them compared to what's on the line for us? So that's the way we're looking at it. You try not to look at and talk about their position, but everyone knows, the guys know where they are and what, where teams, what they're fighting for. So for us, it's a little bit of the focus becomes on what do we need to do to beat them, and neutralize their strengths. Like I said, their D get up the ice. They stretch you out. They'll look for that home run pass a lot, so our D have to be aware of what's going around them when pucks get turned over. But at the end of the day, I don't know which goalie we're going to see. That's kind of what this time of the year does. Like their lineup is less predictable probably than it would be 3 months ago, right? They might be looking at younger guys. They might be looking at a third goal. There's a lot of that goes into it this time of the year, so that's probably the biggest unknown.
How much do you scoreboard watch this time of year, just with every night being so important for all these teams? And do you let yourself be a fan at all, or are you always constantly scouting potential playoff opponents?
Well, a little bit of who were like Minnesota I'm watching last night, and I'm like, oh man, it's 7-7. It's like, I wouldn't want to be on that bench right now. So I'm human that way, right? And then they end up getting the win, so it's, they can move past it. I watched Edmonton, St. Louis, some of it, because we may get St. Louis. I see the odds or whatever that, that's for us, if we finish first, probably Minnesota or St. Louis are starting to catch up with them. We haven't seen St. Louis in a while, so they've been hot. And then could be Edmonton if we slip, right? So that's a good game to watch just because of, what could be down the road. But yes, as a fan, I'm paying attention. I would have thought in the East, the wild card race, I would have predicted would have went down to game 82 maybe 2 weeks ago, and then Montreal just separated themselves. So that's good on them, right? They're playing well at the right time of the year. So yes, I do watch a lot of it. Pay a little more attention to the details of who we might play.
Since we haven't talked to you since last week, any thoughts on Alex Ovechkin breaking the record?
Well, I mean, he's the greatest goal scorer ever. He proved it. So most records you think will never be broken, and then they get broken, right? That's the way it works. So congratulations to him. He's earned it. Longevity, you need that. Here's a guy that broke his leg this year and then has probably had one of his best years ever. So it tells you the type of condition and kind of passion he has to get back at it and score. So, and we'll see who's going to break his record, because there'll probably be someone down the road, whether he's playing now or not playing yet, and that's the beauty of the game, right? There's always the next generation of studs, and he's certainly, on top of his generation, and happy for him.